Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the largest study ever done on AI usage. This gives us a really unique, first-of-its-kind look into how one of the most powerful tools in the world is actually being used by real people. So let's just start with a number it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around it. 700 million people. That's how many people are jumping on ChatGPT every single week. For technology that feels like it basically just showed up yesterday, that kind of scale is absolutely staggering. And that's the big question, right? The billion-dollar question. Are they using it for work, for fun, for writing some super complex code, or are they just asking it simple questions? Well, for the first time, a huge study from OpenAI and Harvard is giving us the real data-backed answer. So, okay, let's dive in. And look, this isn't guesswork. We're not talking about some small online poll here. Researchers analyzed a massive privacy-preserving data set, 1.5 million conversations, to see the true, unvarnished story of how this tech is getting woven into the fabric of our daily lives. Okay, so first things first. Who is actually using this thing? You might have this picture in your head of, just tech enthusiasts or early adopters, but the data, it tells a very different and frankly, much more interesting story. And right away, the data hits us with a huge surprise: how quickly the user base is balancing out. I mean, early on, there was a pretty noticeable gender gap, but over the period they studied, from early 2024 to mid-2025, that gap didn't just shrink, it completely flipped on its head. The trend shows that a majority of new users actually have typically feminine names, which signals this massive shift in who's adopting the technology. And that whole story of democratization, it goes way beyond gender. What the data shows is that by the middle of 2025, the growth rate of adoption in the world's lowest income countries was projected to be a staggering 4 times higher than in the wealthiest ones. This thing is not just a tool for the developed world. It is going global, and it is doing it incredibly fast. So what's the big takeaway here? That whole idea that AI is just for some exclusive club of the wealthy or the tech-savvy? Yeah, that's officially obsolete. This tool is becoming accessible to everyone, way faster than almost anyone predicted. All right, so we've got the who down, but now the what. What are all these millions of people actually doing with it? You can forget all the crazy sci-fi stuff. The answer, as it turns out, is surprisingly down to earth. The researchers were able to boil down pretty much every single interaction into 3 simple buckets. And as you can see, the vast majority of use, we're talking almost 90%, is split right between asking for information and doing practical tasks. That more creative, playful, expressing category, it's a much smaller piece of the pie. So let's make that a little more real. Asking is when you treat it like an expert, asking for travel suggestions. Doing is when you give it a job, like, hey, draft a professional email to my boss. And expressing is for the more personal stuff, writing a poem, exploring some random idea. The bottom line is really clear. People are turning to AI for practical help more than anything else. And check this out. Here's a finding that might really surprise you. Despite all the hype and talk about AI completely revolutionizing software development, the single most common work task for the average user isn't some complex coding problem. It's writing. Just writing. A universal skill that pretty much everybody needs. Okay, last piece of the puzzle, the how. And this is where things get really fascinating, because it's where we see the line between our professional lives and our personal lives just completely blurring, with AI acting as a sort of bridge between the two. And this is just wild. For every one person using it to get work done, you've got more than 2 others using it for their personal lives. We're talking everything from planning a vacation to getting relationship advice. It's truly becoming a dual-use technology. It's part professional tool, part personal life coach. And you might think, okay, personal use, so what? But this matters a lot, because a huge chunk of that 70% of personal use is creating real, tangible value. It's making us more efficient, more informed, more capable, in ways that our traditional economic measures, like GDP, they simply cannot see or count. It's hidden value. So how exactly does it create this hidden value? Well, a key idea here is something the researchers call decision support. Think of it this way. AI isn't just an intern doing tasks for you, it's more like a consultant helping you think better, helping you weigh your options and make smarter judgments, both in the office and at home. So, okay, we've waded through all this incredible data. Let's pull back for a second. What is the big picture here? What should you really take away from this massive look at how we're all using AI? It really all boils down to three huge things. Number one, access is spreading globally. It's democratizing. Two, its main use is for practical, everyday stuff. And three, its truest economic value might actually be hidden in all the ways it helps us in our personal lives. And all of this leaves us with one final, really powerful question that the researchers themselves posed. They argue that access to AI should be treated like a basic right. So if this is the kind of impact we're already seeing when it's just an optional tool, what happens to our world when it becomes as fundamental as, say, electricity or the internet? It's something to think about.